Hello again, it's me. I managed to escape from Geraldo. I'm now hiding somewhere in the Colombian jungle, quite close to the Folk guerrilla territories I think. While walking through the jungle, I found some old aid packages from UNICEF. In one of them, I discovered an old James Bond movie. It was From Russia with Love from 1963. Now I have nothing better to do in the jungle than to review this for you. Before I begin this review, I just want to say that I'm changing the structure of it. I watched my old review videos and I decided it was time for a change. I'm just shortly gonna talk about the plot, and I'm no longer gonna reveal the ending unless it's absolutely necessary. I'm also gonna try to say some positive things about the movie and then some negative things. I might also try to give some constructive criticism on what I think they should have done instead. Here we go. The plot. So in From Russia with Love, the bad guys from Spectre wants the Luger device.
Brand new Lector.
A Lector, no less. Well, the CIA's been after one of those for years.
Yes, oui.
No, I don't know what the Luger device is, but it doesn't matter. It just serves as a MacMuffin device, a term coined by Alfred Hickman. A MacMuffin is just something to get the plot going, to start the movie off. It can be something simple like a device or an action or something. Anyway, Spectre also wants to start war or tensions between the East and the West, and they want revenge on James Bond for what he did to Dr. No in the previous movie. So what they do is that they use a chess player to come up with one of the most elaborate plans ever made.
According to your instructions, I've planned for Spectre to steal from the Russians their new Lector decoding machine. For this, we need the services of a female member of the Russian cryptograph section in Turkey and the help of the British Secret Service. Naturally, neither the Russians nor the British will be aware that they are now working for us.
Number 3, is your section ready to carry out Kronstein's directives?
Yes, number 1. The operation will be organized according to Kronstein's plan. I have selected a suitable girl from the Russian consulate in Istanbul. She's capable, cooperative, and her loyalty to the state is beyond question.
And you're absolutely sure she believes you're still head of operations for Soviet intelligence?
It is most unlikely she would know I'm now working for Spectre. Moscow has kept my defection secret from everyone but a few members of the Presidium.
For your sake, I hope so. Kronstein, you're sure this plan is foolproof?
Yes, it is. Because I have anticipated every possible variation of countermove.
And they also hire a beefcake guy who can fight James Bond. That's pretty much the plot. The positive stuff. The first thing I really like about From Russia with Love is that the plot can be explained in one sentence. This is a great way to get the viewer to easily understand what's going on and what's going to happen later in the movie. In fact, this is how all Hollywood blockbusters are pitched, by just one sentence. Jaws in 1975 was the first true example of this. Basically, Steven Spielberg just said, a big fucking shark is going to eat everyone. Although From Russia with Love isn't a true Hollywood blockbuster, it's easily explained in one sentence, and that's great. It's a simple plot, yet it is interesting. Another thing I like about the movie is that it feels like a real spy movie. The good guys, the West, versus the evil guys, which is the Russians, and the secret organization, Spectre, that's orchestrating the whole thing. Spectre is actually doing its best to stay in the shadows, which is really nice. And in the end, James Bond doesn't go to some cave where the evil leader tells him his elaborate plan or scheme. James Bond kind of figures out that it's Spectre doing this on his own.
Of course, Spectre.
There's no over-dramatical death in the end, where the big boss guy dies. Now this is all great, and I would say that From Russia with Love is a solid old spy thriller. There are no real complaints from me here. It's shot great for what I can tell. The acting is alright, it's not bad. But, as always, I have to nitpick this movie. I'm now going to complain about stupid plot holes and bad decisions made by some characters. Now, you might be thinking, is it really fair to complain about the story from a movie from the 60s that was based on a book? also from the 60s? And I would say yes. There are a lot of great movies that had better stories than this one. Some older movies I consider almost flawless. So yes, it is absolutely fair to complain about this story. Now you might also be thinking, but is it worth your precious time on Earth? The negative stuff. First off, we're never told what the Lector is. I know it's just a MacGuffin device.
How large is the machine?
Like a typewriter.
Weight?
About 10 kilos.
Yes, I know you describe it very well, but what does it do? But this is just a minor inconvenience, I guess. Also, is James Bond's job in this movie to sleep with a hot Russian agent?
Turn it over to us. On one condition. That you went out to Istanbul and brought her and the machine back to England.
Did Ian Fleming write a porn novel? I don't know. The chess master's plan seems overly complicated. It wasn't difficult to understand thanks to the wonderful explanation in the beginning, but this could all have been done in a smarter way. Now, let's assume that I am number 1, the head of Spectre. From what I understand, Spectre wants to get the Lecter, start a war or increase tension between the East and the West, and get revenge on James Bond for what he did to Dr. No. Now, in order to do all of this, Spectre recruits an old Russian general.
The physician did not arrange for you to come over from the Russians just for amusement, number 3.
Who then herself recruit a young Russian girl who's going to sleep with Bond and help Bond steal the Luger, or Lecter, whatever, from the Russian base in Istanbul.
You're a fine-looking girl.
The old lady general also recruits a strong guy, whose job is to kill Bond and the girl and retrieve the Lecter from them. While all of this is happening, Spectre kills 2 Russian agents in the hopes that the Russians will blame the British, and to blow up a building controlled by the British in hopes that the British will blame the Russians. Now, this plan, constructed by the chess master, could be very simplified. Spectre already controls the Russian general, right? So why not have her steal the Lecter from the Russians? They could just throw a smoke grenade or bomb or whatever, just like James Bond did, and then she could just walk in there. If they wanted to keep the general out of harm's way, why not send a girl, big buff guy? I don't see why they had to involve James Bond. Now I know they wanted to frame him for something, but why not just have the Spectre agent kill him? Why even risk James Bond getting his hands on the Lecter machine? And when the general hires the beefcake guy who's tasked to kill Bond, why does she hire the guy who's most likely to be an agent? Why not get a guy who blends in better, who can just sneak up on Bond? Or she could just recruit all the men who's training at the base and get them to all attack Bond at the same time when he's alone. Also, they didn't have to film Bond and the Russian girl in order to frame him. The opening scene shows Spectre agents training to kill a guy wearing a James Bond mask. Why didn't Spectre use these masks when they were gonna rob the Russian base in Istanbul? That's an easier way to frame James Bond, and they don't even have to evolve him at all. Their agents could just wear a mask of his face. Why didn't Spectre just rob the Russian base wearing one of these masks? I mean, the Russians must surely know who James Bond is, and he could just blame it on the British. All of these mistakes leads me to believe that the chess master isn't as brilliant of a tactician as Spectre first thought. This also leads me to believe that Spectre is a stupid organization. I mean, why would you hire a chess player to make your evil master plan? I mean, sure he's smart, but chess is a game, and this is real life. You can't anticipate every move in real life. Maybe Spectre is a stupid organization. They need a new leader. Hey, maybe I should take over for real. Be the number 1. Anyway, that's pretty much it for criticism and my review. If you excuse me, I'm gonna continue to flee into the Colombian jungle. Goodbye.
A game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first, right? Before you move.